So Dharma is often described as soul purpose, soul mission, path, or work. In the earliest uses of this term, which comes from the ancient Vedic texts, Dharma is the sacred law that maintains order in the universe. Soon afterwards, it applied to humans becoming one station in life to define their place in society and create order in civilization and responsibility or duty for that particular person. It often trickled down to establish their sense of worth and how their worth then translated into their work. So the root word is dhr, D-H-R, and this means to support or to maintain. So this is maintaining order, maintaining structure. It can also be just to maintain or uphold one's life. In the West, we often view Dharma as our work or path, but it's more than that. It's our soul mission, the reason we're here. And in this idea of Dharma, we're given something to strive for instead of just settle into or even to inherit. It is often meant to describe doing what we enjoy and work that meets not only our desires, but serves others as well. This soul-fulfilling work creates a nourishing reciprocity that feeds us so we can express ourselves in thoughts, deeds, and actions. And this satiates our hearts. And in doing so, we don't suffer, right? We find an alignment and purpose. But healing ourselves, our ancestors, becoming educated, doing all the work to become refined and skilled, this too is part of the journey, is part of the Dharma. So this idea of Dharma just being one path or trade does put a lot of pressure on us. And today in modern times, it might be easier to think of it as the many skills and talents that we have, where when we weave them together, it makes something even more whole and we can have greater impact in the world. So this is a little bit of a different approach to Dharma, where before it was more of an inheritance, right? And a fulfillment for society, so you belonged as a part of a whole. But today we really just don't have this luxury of an inheritance. We often have to create something unique for ourselves, and this can be frustrating, frightening, and it can take a lot of effort. But it might be a really nice way to think of this as Dharma is a woven tapestry that takes us on many paths. It's actually one journey of many journeys, weaving many things together to create not only a whole, but that true, enriching, fulfilling soul path that most of us are seeking. But before we can even access this path, we have to know ourselves. We have to understand who we are so we can understand our worth and value in the world. This leads us to the goal more quickly. I personally feel Dharma is a journey, right? And first, it's a path of discovering oneself. This leads to a self-mastery that through maturity becomes the direct guidance of living a fulfilled life, one that comes from inside of oneself, that cannot be conditioned or attained or inherited, but it can be mastered, it can be curated, and it can meet your wildest dreams. And that brings us to the phase 2 or second definition of Dharma, is how we can attune to nature and how we should attune to nature, because living dharmically is living along with and in tune with the forces of nature, becoming that wild, so we too become a force of nature that can have greater impact in the world, in our own healing, in our own journey, and live a more fulfilled life. So thank you so much for listening. I'm Brooke with the Wild Temple School. You can find me at thewildtemple.com on the internet or on Instagram at thewildtemple.